Seb the Blade. Freaking hell, Seb, you sound like a dangerous man. What's Luca's preferred macro split? I'll tell you what, he actually woke up like 5 minutes ago, so back in a second. Okay, Luca, I know you're quite an introverted guy, and you have told me a couple of times in confidence that you don't like sharing your diet tips with the general population, but the people want to know how they can achieve this physique. Okay, so I'm just going to come out and ask you, feel free to say whatever's on your mind, like get it all off your chest, just let it all flow. It's a long video. Luca, what is your macronutrient split? Cool. Friggin' cushions. What is that? Why are they even here? Like, what purpose do cushions even serve? Hello and welcome to another video, and today is Q&A day. So, haven't done one of these for a little while. The last one I did, in fact, was the couples Q&A with Sears in Villanova, which if you haven't seen, by the way, go and watch now because it's sick. But yeah, I thought it was about time I did another one. So this morning I posted on Instagram saying I was going to do this. If you don't follow me on Instagram, by the way, what are you doing? Go and do it now. And yeah, as usual, you guys hit me pretty hard with a lot of questions, so I'm going to endeavour to answer as many as I can. So, usual things apply. I have not looked at the questions yet. I'm going to pick them at random because it makes it more fun that way. And I'm going to give myself a 15-minute time limit because I reckon that's about reasonable without dragging on for too long. Right, timer is set. Let's answer some freaking questions. First question, kicking us off, is Chris Foths. Sweet Instagram name, bruh. You seem to really rate specificity in training. Do you ever think to change the types of squats or deadlifts you do? I've seen that you do close grip bench, but no other variation for the other two lifts. Interesting question. The only reason I do close grip bench, to be honest, is because I bench press more often than I squat and deadlift. So I bench press 4 times a week, and because of that, I want to mix it up because otherwise it gets a bit boring where it squats and deadlift. I don't think I do enough volume to warrant doing variations. Milky Boy 95. If you had to live off one My Protein snack for the rest of your life, what would it be? Does like whey protein count as a snack? I'm going to say it does. I'm going to say whey protein because like it's just the easiest and the nicest and the most efficient way to get protein, so that'll be my snack, whey protein. By the way, use the code MATT20 and the link in my description for 20% off. Grant MacArthur, why do you use an unholy amount of water for 1 scoop of protein? This is a good question, to be fair. I do always like fill the shaker up and then have 1 scoop of protein, which obviously is not optimal because it makes it really weak and diluted. The honest answer is that I want to drink a lot of water and I don't want to be drinking water and then protein. It's a ball ache, so 2 birds with 1 stone, just have them together. Like, to be honest, protein is good, but I do just drink it for necessity rather than enjoyment, so I'm happy to have it weak if it means that I get the water that I need. Next question, James Mbevan. Have you considered a collaboration with a penguin? I hear they're pretty cool guys. That's quite funny, to be fair. Gutty Gains. If you could go back and tell your young wee self, Scottish, one thing, what would it be? I would tell my young self that Leicester City are going to win the Premier League in 2015. I'd bet like £1 million on it. I'd be a freaking billionaire right now. Ronnie 297894264322148 115 1000 723. I made the last few digits up there. Why do you pronounce the A in Aldi as an O? Oh, good question. I do say Aldi rather than Audi, as some people say, but as far as I'm concerned, Audi is the brand of a car, whereas Aldi is a good way to distinguish two things, you know? Like, if they're two words that sound the same that mean different things, pronounce one of them differently makes it more simple. So for example, ring and ring. So a ring can be like a ring, or it can be like give someone a ring. So when I give someone a ring on the phone, I pronounce it wrong. Amy 200 3333. Why are we having names with masses of digits in, guys? This is unrealistic. You make yourself sound like a robot. Will you do any more eating challenges like 30,000 calories? Oh, no is the answer. I'm sorry. That's a lie. I will do some more eating challenges because they're fun, of course, and you guys enjoy them, but 30,000 calories, I'm saying very, very unlikely for the simple fact that I haven't got it in me. Like 25,000 calories genuinely nearly killed me. Like, I don't think I could physically eat 30,000 calories, and for that reason alone, not gonna happen. I am freaking firing through these questions. Phil 3ES. Oh, Phil 13ES. Do you foam roll, stretch, or have any physiotherapy to prevent injury? No. I don't really like, when I used to do athletics, I used to get loads of treatment on my back and stuff, but I'm a big believer in, firstly, if you go and see like a physio slash chiropractor slash get MRI scans or whatever, like their job is to diagnose injury. So I think it's one of those where sometimes if you don't know about it, you can adapt and be okay. Whereas if someone tells you you've got a dodgy knee, that's going to be on your mind every time you squat, every time you deadlift, and it's going to mess you around. So I'm a big believer in, obviously within reason, you know, if your arm falls off, don't try and bench press, but within reason, just try and kind of get on with it, be sensible, and you will adapt to things. Like, I think the best way to prevent injury as a powerlifter is just to lift frequently, because then it becomes embedded. It's not a big deal. It's not likely to cause injury. Make sure your technique is really like spot on, because again, if you're lifting, like if you're deadlifting with a rounded back, like lower back, it's obviously going to destroy your back. But yeah, like I think injuries tend to come when you like don't lift for a while, then suddenly randomly go and squat really heavy. You know, if you're sensible about it, you have a good program, you should be okay. Miguel.Ocean, thanks for the segmentation there. Will the 3 Lions go far in the World Cup? No. Let's be honest, England freaking suck, so the chances are we'll lose in the group stage and get eliminated. Mr. Drew Potter, what food can you eat a lot of and still not gain weight? Ooh, good question. I'm training for a marathon and like to eat large portions and be satisfied, but obviously don't want to gain weight. That's a good question, to be fair. So the question is, like, how can you eat a lot of food and not gain weight? It sounds like a contradiction, but it is possible. Ultimately, the answer is go for massy foods that are high in mass relative to their calories. So for example, if you eat things that are really high in protein or high in fiber, they tend to fill you up, but they don't tend to be very high in calories. So like a chicken breast, like salad. So for example, right now I'm kind of in that phase. I'm in the point where I don't want to be eating too much because of my competition, but at the same time I don't want to feel hungry all the time. So a good thing to do is go for like massive salads. Like I've made a few recently in videos, like Buddha bowl type thing. So you just literally get a crap ton of salad, put it in a bowl, like sweet potatoes, seeds, maybe a few nuts and stuff. You can eat a huge amount of vegetables without getting very many calories, and it will really fill you up. So the answer is high mass to low calorie ratio foods. Next up, Jamie Bork, 5. Have you ever got tendinitis in your knee, and how would you train around it? Yes, I've had tendinosis a couple of times in the past, not for a while to be fair, and the answer is to find a balance. So a lot of people will go for the approach, and a lot of people get told to like just not train, just rest completely. The problem there is that your tendons don't have a big blood supply, so if you do nothing, then they're going to take ages and ages to heal. So the trick is, don't do too much, but do things within pain. So for example, if you've got tendinosis in your knee, if you do some light cycling or some light squatting, then you're actually going to promote blood flow to the area, and it's going to make healing a lot quicker. Kate_is_trying. I might be stupid, hope you're not, Kate, but why do you wear those shin protector things when you're bench pressing and not when you're deadlifting? The answer to that, Kate, is that I don't. They're not shin protectors, they're knee sleeves, and I tend to bench press after I squat. So what I'll do is after I squat, I'll just roll the knee sleeves down to my shins and then bench press, because taking them off would involve taking my shoes off, and as we all know, I'm very lazy, so that doesn't happen. Seb the Blade. Freaking hell, Seb, you sound like a dangerous man. What's Luca's preferred macro split? I'll tell you what, he actually woke up like 5 minutes ago, so back in a second. Okay, Luca, I know you're quite an introverted guy, and you have told me a couple of times in confidence that you don't like sharing your diet tips with the general population, but the people want to know how they can achieve this physique. Okay, so I'm just going to come out and ask you, feel free to say whatever's on your mind, like get it all off your chest, just let it all flow. It's a long video. Luca, what is your macronutrient split? Cool. Next question, Sykesy_3. Way, Sykesy. Tips to build a strong neck. Should you use isolation training? The best way, in my experience, to build a big neck is just to have a massive head, because then your neck has to support your head all the time and it just gets really big and strong. Following Sykesy, Sophie a Little Lunt. That's a risky name. What's your opinion on HIIT training and using it to build muscle? Don't. It's a terrible way. It's like saying, what's your opinion on cross-country skiing to grow your hair? Like, it's not gonna, there's no correlation there. HIIT training, you know, if you're a complete beginner and you've literally never exercised in your life, I guess HIIT training would build a little bit of muscle, but if you're trying to build muscle over a long-term plan to, you know, make some genuine progress, HIIT training is not the way to go. You wanna be weightlifting. Debenham, that sounds a bit like Debenhams, the superstore. What are your best travel tips? Good one. My best travel tips are use Airbnb. It's freaking sick. Yeah, just do research, things like TripAdvisor, look at reviews for stuff like restaurants and where you're staying and the location and stuff. And a good tip as well is look at recent reviews, because a lot of people will look at reviews and say, oh, it's got all 5 stars, but those 5 stars are like from 2 years ago. So make sure they're recent reviews, and like I said, use Airbnb because it's way more fun than using boring hotels. Metty Ching, got a couple of questions. Greedy. Have you ever had elbow tendinosis or tendinitis in general, and how do you manage it? Same as the knee thing. How do you recommend and do you rest between sets for hypertrophy in comparison to strength? Okay, so what is your recovery between hypertrophy sets compared to strength sets? You have more for strength. Very simply, if you're lifting for strength, it needs to be high quality. Therefore, you want at least 3 minutes recovery, sometimes up to 5 minutes if they're really heavy sets. For hypertrophy, a lot less, like anywhere from, I guess, a minute to 2 minutes. Adrian Gerzaliu, you've pretty much used every letter in the alphabet there, mate. What is your advice to someone that has hit a plateau in bench press? Unlucky, no joking. I would say if your training is sound and you are like using progressive overload, so you're increasing the volume every week with your bench press, it will go up. If you've got to a point where you can't do any more volume, then bench press more frequently. So if you're benching twice a week, add a 3rd session, 3 times a week, add a 4th session, and so on. Next question, Ollie_Morgan. Do you think straightening your hair has increased or decreased your subscriber count? Ollie, you know me, I'm the kind of guy who, I don't just go around spurting my opinion willy-nilly. I like to deal in cold, hard facts. Dan_Sims_. Why no need for the second underscore there, mate? How do you have abs? And then like a laughing smiley face. It's laughing so much to the extent that it has tears coming out of his eyes. I mean, it could be being tortured and it's in pain, but I'm going to assume that's a smile. Anyway, I digress. Abs. I have abs because I have a relatively low body fat. I'm also lucky genetically in that I don't deposit fat on my stomach. So everyone deposits fat in different positions on their body dependent on their genetics. So if your mum and dad happen to put all their fat on their stomach, chances are you are as well. What that means for me, because I don't put fat on my stomach, I can have a higher body fat level than someone who doesn't have abs but still have abs. I put fat maybe on my sides or my back or whatever, so I guess I'm fortunate in that respect. But ultimately the answer is, if your body fat is low enough, you'll have abs. Everyone has abs. They're just covered by fat. Francesco Bianco, that is a sick name. You're so good at eating a great amount of food, but how are you in drinking alcohol? Not so good. EJBT20, who is Emma? Well, apparently Emma is an absolute goon who likes commenting ridiculous things on my Instagram posts in order to get attention, and that, my friends, is the timer, and that signals the end of this Q&A. Whoa, I just threw my phone and it was that close from missing the sofa and landing on the floor. I'm done, that's it, it's over. I think that was pretty good. I feel like I got through quite a lot of questions there, possibly the most questions ever. Like, in an ideal world, I'd like to answer all of them. I always feel bad if someone asks a question I can't answer it, but ultimately making like an hour-and-a-half video would suck and no one would watch it, so I can't do that. So that is it, my friends. That is the end of the video. I sincerely hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you tomorrow.